Hello and welcome back to another episode of English Journey with Leo and Stella. I'm your host, Leo. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And I'm Stella, your friendly co-host. We are so happy to be here with you. Whether you are walking, driving, relaxing, or sitting with your cup of tea, we're glad you've chosen to spend your time with us.
Yes, absolutely. And today's episode is a very special one. We are going to talk about something that can really change the way you learn English. The topic is train your brain to think in English.
That's right. Now you might be thinking, think in English. What does that really mean? Don't worry, we're going to explain it step by step. This episode is for all English learners, beginners, intermediate, and even advanced students. Everyone can learn something useful here.
So let us ask you a question. When you want to say something in English, do you first think in your own language, then try to translate it in your head, and then speak in English?
If the answer is yes, don't worry. That's completely normal. Most people do that when they are learning a new language. It's what we call translating in your head. But here's the problem. This takes time. It can slow you down, make you nervous, and sometimes you can even forget the words you want to say.
Exactly. But there's a better way. If you can train your brain to think directly in English, you can speak faster, more naturally, and with more confidence. You don't have to stop and translate every time. English will start to become a part of your daily thinking.
Just imagine walking down the street and thinking, it's a sunny day, or I need to buy some fruit, in English, without even trying hard. That's the goal. It's not magic, it's practice. And today, we'll show you how to start.
We'll talk about why most people think in their native language first, what it really means to think in English, and how to start doing it in your everyday life. We also have lots of simple tips and easy exercises that you can start today, even right now while you're listening.
So, if you're someone who wants to become a fluent English speaker, if you want to stop translating in your head, and if you want to make English feel natural and easy, this episode is just for you.
All right then, let's get started. First, let's understand why we usually think in our native language and what's stopping us from thinking in English. Ready, Stella?
Ready, Leo? Let's dive in.
So now that we've introduced the topic, let's start with a very important question. Why do most English learners think in their native language first? This is something we all do, especially when we're starting to learn a new language.
Yes, and it's actually very normal. We grow up thinking, speaking, and dreaming in our native language. It becomes our comfort zone. So, when we start learning English, our brain naturally wants to stay in that comfort zone. It says, let me think in the language I know best. Then I'll try to translate it into English.
Exactly. And that brings us to the first reason: habit. Our brain is used to thinking in one language. It's like a path we always walk on. The more we use it, the deeper it becomes. So, when you try to speak English, your brain takes the usual path: native language first, then translation.
The second reason is fear. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes in English. They worry about grammar, pronunciation, or choosing the wrong word. So, instead of thinking in English, they try to prepare their sentence in their native language first. They feel safer doing it that way.
Yes. And the third reason is comfort in translation. Translating in your head can feel easier in the beginning because you already know the words in your own language. You just want to change them into English. But here's the problem. It's slow, and it doesn't really help you think in English.
That's true. Let's talk about the problem with translating in your head. When you translate everything, it becomes like a two-step process. First, you think in your native language. Then, you try to find the English words. That takes time. And sometimes the grammar or structure is different, so the sentence sounds strange or wrong.
Yes, and this delay can really affect your speaking. For example, imagine you're in a coffee shop, and someone asks you, "What would you like to drink?" But you start thinking, "Okay, in my language, I say, I want tea. How do I say that in English? Let me translate." And by the time you're ready to speak, the person is already waiting or asking again.
It's not only slow, but it can also make you feel nervous or shy. You may worry about speaking too slowly or saying something wrong. This can stop you from practicing, and if you don't practice, it becomes harder to improve.
Exactly. And sometimes translation doesn't even work. Some words or phrases don't have a direct match in English. Or maybe the way you express an idea in your language is very different from how it's said in English. This can make your sentence sound confusing.
Here's another real-life example. A student once told me that every time he wanted to speak English, he would first write the sentence in his native language in his mind. Then he would try to translate it. By the time he was done, the conversation had already moved on.
That happens a lot. The truth is, if we keep translating in our heads, we will always feel slow and unsure when speaking English. But if we start thinking directly in English, it becomes easier and faster, and it helps build our confidence too.
So, if you've been thinking in your own language first, it's okay. It's normal. But now is the time to try something new. Let's train your brain to take a new path, the English path. It may feel strange at first, but with practice, it gets easier.
Absolutely. So now that we understand why this happens, it's time to explore what it really means to think in English and how you can start doing it today.
Stick with us, because the next part will show you what thinking in English really looks like and how simple it can be.
All right. Now that we understand why most learners think in their native language first, let's move on to the big question. What does it really mean to think in English?
That's a great question, Leo. Thinking in English doesn't mean you need to have deep conversations in your mind or speak full sentences all the time. It simply means your first thoughts, your first ideas, come to you in English, not in your native language.
Yes, it's about the small things. When you see something, like a chair, instead of thinking chair in your native language and then translating, you just see it and think chair. Or if you're hungry, instead of saying in your own language, I want food, and then translating, your brain says, I'm hungry, or I want something to eat, directly in English.
Exactly. It starts small. For example, when you wake up, you can think simple things like, good morning, or I need to brush my teeth, or what time is it? These are short, daily thoughts. But if you practice them in English again and again, your brain will start using English more naturally.
Another great way is naming objects around you. Look around right now. What do you see? A phone? A book? A glass of water? Say the names in English in your head. This is my phone. I have a glass of water. That's a notebook. These simple thoughts help your brain get used to English words without translation.
And later, you can move to small questions or plans, like, "What should I wear today?" or "Let me check my messages." These are common daily thoughts. When you practice thinking these in English, it feels more natural each time.
Yes, and here's something really important. When you think in English, you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to use simple words. You don't need big, fancy vocabulary. Just say what you can. Even a thought like, "I go store now," is okay when you're starting. Over time, you'll improve it to, "I'm going to the store now."
Right. The goal is not perfect grammar. It's about starting the habit of using English in your daily mental life. And here's the best part. When you do this, your fluency improves. You start speaking faster. You don't stop to translate. You just say it.
And your confidence grows too, because you feel like English is part of you now, not something outside of you. You think in English, so you feel more ready to speak it out loud. You don't freeze when someone talks to you in English.
Thinking in English also makes learning fun. It's not just about reading books or studying grammar. It becomes a part of your daily life. It's like carrying English with you everywhere, on the bus, in the kitchen, at school, or at work.
Exactly. So remember, thinking in English means using the language inside your mind. It starts with small thoughts, grows into sentences, and soon becomes natural. And trust us, it really works.
Now, in the next section, we're going to show you how to train your brain to do this. Simple steps, easy habits, and fun activities you can try today.
You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. Okay, now that we've talked about what it really means to think in English, let's dive into something very exciting: the benefits. What good things actually happen when you start thinking in English?
Oh, there are so many! And they make your English learning journey much easier and much more fun. Let's start with one of the biggest benefits: faster speaking. When you think in English, your brain doesn't waste time translating. That means you can speak quicker, more naturally, and with more confidence.
Yes, that's true. I remember a student of mine, Maria. At first, she used to stop in the middle of her sentences because she was trying to translate. But after practicing thinking in English, she started to speak without long pauses. She wasn't faster just because she memorized phrases. She was faster because her brain was now working in English.
That's a great example. The second big benefit is better listening and understanding. When you think in English, your ears get used to the sounds, the rhythm, and the speed of the language. You don't need to stop and ask, "What does that mean in my language?" You just understand it in English.
And that helps a lot with real-life conversations. Imagine watching a movie in English or listening to a podcast like this one. If your brain is used to thinking in English, you'll catch more words. You'll follow the story more easily. You won't feel lost.
Absolutely. Now, the third benefit is really special. You start expressing your ideas in a more natural way. English has its own way of saying things. It's not always a direct translation from your language. So, when you think in English, you begin to use common English expressions, phrases, and sentence patterns. It makes your English sound more natural and smooth.
Exactly. And I think that also leads to the next big benefit: better vocabulary usage. When you think in English, you begin to remember and use the words you learn. Let's say you learn the word delicious. If you think in English, you'll start using it naturally, like, "This food is delicious," or "That cake looks delicious."
Yes! Thinking in English helps your new vocabulary stay alive in your brain. You're not just learning it and forgetting it. You're actually using it in your daily thoughts. And when you use a word again and again, it becomes part of you.
That's so important. And here's the last benefit we want to share today: less translation stress. When learners always translate in their heads, it creates stress. It's tiring. It feels like hard work. But when you think in English, your brain relaxes. It flows better. Speaking and listening don't feel like a test anymore.
I've heard so many learners say, I feel free now, after they stopped translating everything. It's like they finally found their English voice. And that's an amazing feeling, to use English with confidence, without fear, and without overthinking.
So let's quickly repeat the benefits for our listeners. When you train your brain to think in English, you get faster speaking, better listening and understanding, natural expression of ideas, improved vocabulary usage, less translation, stress.
And remember, all these benefits come with time and practice. It doesn't happen in one day, but every small step brings you closer. And thinking in English is one of the most powerful steps you can take.
Coming up next, we're going to give you simple and clear exercises to help you start thinking in English. These are practical, fun, and easy to do, even if you're a beginner.
You're going to love them. Stay with us and get ready to train your brain.
Now, this is where it gets really exciting. If you're wondering, how can I actually train my brain to think in English? Well, this is your part. We're going to give you simple, clear, and powerful tips that you can use every single day. And don't worry, they're not difficult. Anyone can do them, even if you're a beginner.
Yes, and we suggest starting small. One of the easiest ways is to look around your room and say the names of things in English. For example, instead of thinking kursi or whatever the word is in your language, just say chair. Look at your table, say table. See your phone, say phone. It's a small step, but it's training your brain to switch to English, one word at a time.
Exactly. That small habit builds a strong foundation. The next thing you can try is using English for your inner voice. You know that little voice in your head that talks to you all day? Try to make it speak in English. Like when you're getting ready in the morning, say to yourself, "I'm brushing my teeth," or "I need to find my socks." It might feel strange at first, but it really works.
And if you're alone, say it out loud. Speaking to yourself in English is not weird, it's smart. It gives your mouth practice and it makes your brain used to forming English sentences quickly. You can even narrate what you're doing, like, now I'm making tea, or I'm opening the window because it's hot. Simple language, real practice.
Another great tip is to use English during your daily routine. Try writing your grocery list in English. For example, write milk, bread, onions, instead of using your native words. If you're writing your daily plans or reminders, do it in English. Even simple things like call mom or buy medicine can help your brain stay in English mode.
Here's a fun one. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Every day, just stand in front of the mirror and have a short conversation with yourself. You can ask and answer questions like, how are you today? What are your plans? Or, what did you eat? It might feel silly at first, but it really helps build confidence, and it gets your brain used to thinking and speaking at the same time.
One trick I love is using sticky notes. Label things in your house with their English names. Put a note on the door that says door, one on the fridge that says fridge, one on your mirror that says mirror. These small notes help your brain make a connection between the object and the English word. And every time you see the label, your brain remembers it a little better.
Another powerful technique is listening and repeating. Find slow English podcasts or videos on YouTube, maybe even this podcast. Pause after each sentence and try to repeat it. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Just try to copy the rhythm and words. Over time, your brain will start copying that pattern naturally.
There are also great English apps or games that you can use. Some apps help you build vocabulary by playing fun games. Others help you form sentences. The key is to enjoy it. Learning should not feel like a chore. It should feel like you're playing and discovering something new. If you enjoy it, your brain will remember it better.
And finally, use your social media in English. Follow English pages, read their posts, look at the comments. You don't have to understand everything, but the more you see English, the more your brain gets used to it. Even reading short captions helps. And if you're feeling brave, try writing a comment in English or a short post. That's a great way to use what you're learning in a real situation.
Wow, we just gave a lot of tips. But remember, friends, you don't have to do all of them at once. Start with one or two. Maybe today you label things in your room. Tomorrow you write your to-do list in English. Then the next day, you try speaking in the mirror. Slowly, step by step, you're training your brain.
And the most important thing, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Thinking in English is not about being perfect. It's about practice. The more you practice, the better you get. And we're here to help you on that journey.
Stay with us. We're not done yet. In the next part, we'll talk about common challenges people face when trying to think in English, and how to overcome them. All right, friends, now that we've talked about all the tips, let's make things even easier for you. Because we know that sometimes it can feel like a lot. You may be thinking, where do I start? Or, how do I make this part of my life? So, here's something simple and powerful. A daily practice plan.
Yes, this is a small routine that you can do every single day. It doesn't take too much time, but it really helps your brain start thinking in English more naturally. We're going to break your day into 3 parts: morning, afternoon, and night. And we'll tell you exactly what you can do in each part.
Let's start with the morning. When you wake up, your brain is fresh. It's the perfect time to begin your English thinking practice. So every morning, take a few minutes to think of 5 things you will do today in English. For example, say to yourself, today, I will go to work. I will meet my friend. I will cook lunch. I will watch a movie. I will clean my room. These are simple, clear sentences. You can even write them down or say them out loud. This small morning habit sets the tone for your day in English.
Exactly. You don't need to say anything complicated. Just use the English you know. And if you don't know a word, it's okay. You can check it later. What matters is you're training your brain to begin the day in English.
Now, let's move to the afternoon. This part is all about observation. Wherever you are, at home, at school, outside, just take a few minutes to look around and describe what you see in English. For example, there is a red car. The sun is bright. I see a cat sleeping. A man is talking on the phone. These short sentences help you stay in English mode. And if you don't have time, Even just doing this while walking or waiting in line is great.
And if you're at home, you can do it while doing small things, like cooking or cleaning. For example, I am washing the dishes, or I'm cutting vegetables. You're not just doing the task, you're also giving your brain English training at the same time. You're making thinking in English a part of your normal life.
Now let's talk about nighttime. This is a very special time because your day is almost over and your brain is ready to slow down. So at night, before going to bed, we want you to reflect on your day in English. Just take 2 or 3 minutes and ask yourself, what did I do today? Then answer in simple English. For example, I went to work. I talked to my friend. I watched a video. I cooked dinner. I was tired. You don't need to write a full story. Just a few simple lines. You can speak them out loud or think them silently.
And this night reflection helps you review your day. You're not just learning English, you're building a habit of using English in your thoughts, in your real life, every single day. And that's what makes a huge difference in your fluency.
So let's review. Morning. Think of 5 things you will do. Afternoon. Talk about what you see or do. Night. Reflect on your day. That's it. Simple, clear, and very powerful. Do this every day, and slowly you'll notice that English becomes more natural. You'll start thinking in English without trying too hard.
And remember, don't worry about mistakes. This is your personal practice. No one is judging you. What matters is that you're showing up every day and giving your brain a little exercise in English, just like going to the gym, but for your language muscles.
We hope this mini guide gives you a good place to start. You don't need anything fancy, just your mind, your day, and your desire to learn. Stick with this, and we promise you'll feel the difference. Okay, we've talked a lot about how to train your brain to think in English, and we've given you tips and a daily routine. But before we wrap up this part, let's talk about something very important: mistakes to avoid.
Yes, because we know that many learners start strong, but then stop after a few days. And most of the time, it's because of small mistakes that create stress or confusion. So let's go over some of the most common ones, and we'll tell you how to avoid them so you can keep going with confidence.
All right, mistake number 1. Trying to speak perfect English in your head. Many learners want to say full, correct, perfect English sentences all the time. And when they can't, they feel bad, or they stop trying. But the truth is, you don't need to be perfect.
Exactly! When you're thinking in English, especially in your own mind, you don't need full grammar. You don't need big vocabulary. You just need the words you know. Even if it's not 100% correct, it's okay. For example, instead of saying, I've been brushing my teeth for 5 minutes, you can just say, I brush teeth. That's fine when you're thinking. The important part is, you're using English.
Right. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you may fall, but you keep trying. Your goal is not to write a perfect English exam in your mind. It's to make English a natural part of your thoughts.
Now, mistake number 2. Translating every word from your native language to English. This is a habit many people have, and it's completely normal at the beginning. But it can slow you down a lot.
Yes, because when you translate word by word in your mind, it takes time. You hear something, you translate it. You think of a reply, then you translate again. It's like using a GPS that needs 3 extra steps to tell you where to go. It's just not fast enough.
And sometimes the grammar or word order is different in your native language, so your English sentence ends up sounding strange or confusing. Instead, train your brain to understand and use English directly. Start with small, simple ideas, like, I'm hungry, it's cold, I need to go. These don't need translation. You can feel them in English.
Yes, that's a great point. Even if it's difficult in the beginning, your brain will get better at it. Just give it time. Which brings us to mistake number 3. Giving up after a few tries.
Oh, yes, we hear this a lot. A learner tries to think in English for 2 or 3 days, then says, it's too hard, or it's not working, and stops. But learning a new habit takes time. Your brain needs regular practice to change its pattern.
Think about it like this. If you want to get stronger muscles, you go to the gym. But if you go one time and say, why don't I have big muscles yet? That doesn't make sense, right?
Exactly! Training your brain is just like that. You have to be patient. Even if it feels slow or strange at first, just keep going. Talk to yourself, label things, think in simple English. It will get easier. And suddenly, one day, you'll notice, wow, I'm thinking in English without even trying.
So remember, don't wait to be perfect. Don't keep translating everything, and don't give up too early. These are 3 big mistakes to avoid.
And even if you make one of these mistakes sometimes, it's okay. Just be kind to yourself. This is your journey, and every step you take is helping you improve. The most important thing is keep going.
You've got this. Keep it simple, keep it regular, and most of all, keep it fun. You're not just learning English, you're training your brain to think in a whole new way. That's something to be proud of. All right, my friends, we're coming to the end of today's episode. But before we finish, we want to leave you with something very important. A little motivation and encouragement to help you keep going.
Yes, because we know that learning to think in English is not easy at first. It takes time. It takes daily effort. And sometimes it can feel frustrating or even confusing. But guess what? That's completely normal.
Absolutely. Nobody starts thinking in English overnight. Just like a baby doesn't speak full sentences in one day, your brain needs time to learn this new skill. So, be patient with yourself. Even if you feel slow, even if you make mistakes, just keep going.
Absolutely. Nobody starts thinking in English overnight. Just like a baby doesn't speak full sentences in one day, your brain needs time to learn this new skill. So, be patient with yourself. Even if you feel slow, even if you make mistakes, just keep going.
Yes! Think of mistakes as stepping stones, not roadblocks. When you make a mistake, it means your brain is trying, learning, and improving. The worst mistake is to stop trying because you're afraid to make one.
That's right. I remember one of our students, Lena. She used to think in her native language all the time. Every time she tried to speak English, she stopped to translate in her mind. She felt slow and she lost confidence. But we told her, just start with small things. One word, one sentence. Use English in your thoughts every day.
And guess what? After 3 months, she came to class and said, I was walking in the park, and I was thinking in English without planning it. She was so happy. It didn't happen in 1 week, but it did happen. because she didn't give up.
So if you're listening now, and maybe you're feeling unsure, maybe you think, can I really do this? We want to say, yes, you can.
You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know 1,000 words. You just need to practice a little every day. Let English be part of your life. Make it part of your thinking, your feelings, your daily routine.
And remember, we believe in you. This podcast, this journey, it's all about helping you grow step by step. You're not alone. You are learning something powerful. Thinking in English is not only good for speaking, it builds confidence, speed, and connection.
So keep going, keep smiling, and keep thinking in English. You're doing great.
And we're so proud of you.
Thanks for being with us today. You've made another step in your English journey.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop believing in yourself.